Hey guys, Coach Dan Hammer at Tennis here. In today's video, we're going to be doing a review of the brand new Pro Staff 97 V13. And so all throughout my junior career and my college career, and when I first started teaching, I used the Pro Staff, the original Pro Staff, the mid-size version, the 85 square inch. And then after that, I started playing with the Babolat. And so a lot of you guys have seen my other videos. You'll notice that I've been using a Pure Aero, and there's even different versions to that. So I've been using the Babolat for about over 10 years or so. And so when I saw this brand new Pro Staff, with the graphics, with the design, they're really playing homage back to that original Pro Staff. They really suckered me in. This racket looks awesome. This paint job is super cool. It's got like a very, almost like a rubbery matte finish on it. It's got that red and yellow, that pinstripe on there. They really got me with that. And so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do a review on that racket, and I'm gonna see what this racket's about. I'm gonna see how it's played. I've hit with some of the other 97 Pro Staffs throughout that they've come out with, and I wasn't necessarily a big fan, but I'm going to give this racket a try. I'm going to hit with it on the ball machine. I'm going to play out some points. I'm going to hit some serves, and I'm going to put it to the test, and I'm going to see how does this racket compare. Is this going to be something that I may want to play with myself, or am I going to want to stick with my Babolat? So let's get to it. But do me a favor first, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification. Give this video a like, and hit those comments below. All right, guys, let's get to it.
Alright, so let's get into this review of the Wilson Pro Staff 97 V13. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the paint job here. And I know that shouldn't be the main reason that you're buying a racket is how it looks, but let's be honest, if your racket looks awesome, that's going to help you have more confidence in it, which is going to help you play better. And so it's got this really bright red butt cap on the end. They say it's an ergonomic butt cap that really matches well with the red and yellow pinstripe. It really pulls that red out of that pinstripe. It really stands against the dark matte black that this racket's painted in. You've got a gloss Wilson on the side. It looks really cool. So we're going to go ahead and take a look today. This is the 16 by 9 string pattern that's in 314 grams. So it's a little bit lighter than the Roger Federer edition. That's about 340 grams. And this racket has the red and yellow pinstripe, where the Roger Federer has kind of some gray lines on it as well. Also on the website it says that the exposed braids that you can see there, it says it's an update to the graphite Kevlar braids on the original Pro Staff, but it's now at a 45-degree angle. So I don't know if it has any Kevlar. The Roger Federer does not mention that. So you can see the bumper guard there looks really good. Okay, let's get into how this racket actually plays. So we took a look at it there. It's a really cool looking racket, but how does it hit? That's what really matters. So I went out and I played with one of my hitting partners who I've hit with for many years, so I got a good feel for how the racket handled while I was rallying with live balls and moving all over the court, not just on the ball machine here. But then after I did that, I wanted to get on the ball machine to put it to the test to get a good feel for hitting the same shot. And I also wanted to collect some data to see, is there a pace different? Am I getting a different pace out of the ball with this Pro Staff or with my Babolat? And I wanted to see what the differences were. As you can tell when you're hitting with the Pro Staff, it definitely has a lot more kind of a solid feel than I would say my Pure Aero does. But it also has a little bit of a muted feel off the face. So it felt like the ball didn't have that same white pop that the Babolat has. The Babolat maybe the way it pockets the ball a little bit different. You could just kind of feel it it pops off the face a little bit more lively to me than the Pro Staff does. It's nothing that is really off-putting, but it's just a different feel. I think also too, maybe the string bed is a little bit more dense in the Pro Staff, so therefore it just kind of feels that more of a solid, like I said, more of a muted kind of feel. Now moving the racket around, I didn't really have any troubles with the weight and the balance. It was a little bit of adjustment period, but it's nothing that's really unable to overcome. It is a little bit heavier than the Pure Aero that I've been playing. So let's go ahead here and let's take a look at the numbers. So with the Pro Staff, I had an average ball speed of 74.1 miles per hour and a max of 79 on my forehand. And with the Pure Aero, I had an average ball speed of 74.9 miles per hour and a max of 70. Okay, so how does this racket serve? And so that is one of the things that I always loved about the original Pro Staff, was how it felt when you were serving. And so when you're serving with this racket, again, it feels really solid. You've got that additional weight to it that helps kind of power the racket through the ball. However, when I was initially playing with this with my playing partner, it felt as though I was losing some pace on the ball. And I was really interested to see when I got out here and compared it to my Babolat how it was going to stack up. And so what I'm doing here is I'm hitting flat serves, and I want to see just exactly how much pace difference there's going to be. So the Babolat again feels a little bit more lively, the ball coming off the face, but at the same time with the Pro Staff you do have that additional weight and that different balance, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that correlated into the pace I was able to generate with each ball. I felt again though that the Pro Staff had a little bit better control over especially hitting a flat serve here. I felt as though that it did have a little bit more control. I was able to place the ball a little bit better than with the Babolat. So as we look at the numbers here and see just exactly how these compare, you can see with the Pro Staff I had an average of 110.1 with a max of 113, and with the Babolat I had an average of 110.9 with a max of 113, so virtually identical. Alright, so what about second serves? So I hit some top spin serves to see how the spin was with serving with the Pro Staff. And again, I wasn't able to generate maybe quite as much spin as I am with my Pure Aero, but it wasn't anything that I wasn't able to control. I was actually very consistent with the Pro Staff, probably even more consistent than my Pure Aero. Sometimes the Pure Aero tends to get a little spinny, and when hitting kick serves it almost kind of spins out a little bit more than I wanted to. So I was able to have a good mixture with the Pro Staff of spin and pace when compared to my Babolat. A lot of times it just turns out you kind of just get a little bit more spin, which makes sense when you look at the numbers. The Pro Staff I actually had an average of 88.8 with a max of 91, and then on the Babolat I had an average speed of 84.8 with a max of 87 because it was spinning a little bit more, and so I had a little bit less pace on the serve. Alright, so looking at the backhand side, when using this racket on your backhand side, I really like the way it feels. Again, it's got that nice solid feel. You don't feel like you really have to swing for the fence. You can just put the racket on the ball, give it a nice turn, and extend through, and you feel like you're going to hit the ball where you want to go with a decent amount of spin and pace. So hitting some backhands here, initially I think I liked it more on the backhand side at first, and then it took a little bit as I got used to the forehand side with it. I did like how it felt, but you know, again, it's just a very solid racket overall. So let's look at the numbers here compared to my Babolat. When I hit my backhand, I was hitting at 66.3 with a max of 70 on the Pro Staff, and with the Babolat, I had an average of 68.6 with a max of 72. So again, very similar. Alright, volleys. So volleys is really where this racket shines because you've just got that enhanced feel. You really feel like you can control the ball, place it where you want to. It just goes, you don't have to overpower. It's stable in the air when the ball, you're hitting the ball, it's got that nice weight balance to it, so you feel very solid, very secure in your volley. This is a volleyer's racket, very similar back to the old Pro Staffs. So that, again, it just continues that tradition of being a very good volley racket. This racket performs when hitting a slice backhand. It feels very stable as you're going through the ball. You're able to hit a good amount of underspin, which is going to help keep that ball low when it hits the court. It just has a nice solid feel. You feel like you're very accurate, and it just performs well when you're hitting the shot.
Alright guys, so some final thoughts on the Pro Staff 97 V13. So again, how this racket looks, I think it looks awesome. You know, the paint job's really good. I think it's really going back to its roots. The Pro Staff line with the original, with the pinstripe and everything. But how does it play? You saw the numbers there. It's very comparable to what I've been currently playing with my Pure Aero. It held its own on the serve with the speed, virtually the same numbers. You can produce a good amount of spin with this racket. Maybe not quite as much as some other rackets, but I think you're going to be able to produce enough spin that you're going to be able to hold your own out there on the court. Pace is there in the hands of the right player. This is definitely a racket that can produce a tremendous amount of pace. The sweet spot may be a little smaller than some of the rackets, but again, I think that it's going to be something that a lot of players are going to like, that solid feel. They're going to like the stability of the racket and the way that it plays. Is this going to be a racket that's going to find its way into the mix of the rackets that I'm going to be using, or is it going to take over the primary role and push my Pure Aero out? Only time's going to tell, guys. I really do like the way that this racket feels. I like the solidness, and it's really bringing me back to those days of using that original Pro Staff with that solid feel. So how does it compare to say an original Pro Staff, an 85. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to do that video next. We're going to put these head to head in our next review video. We're going to see how the old racket compares to the new racket. We're going to see, and so stay tuned for that. And do me a favor, guys, to make sure you get notified. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, give this video a like, and hit those comments below. So until next time, guys, I've been Coach Daniel. Catch you later.